Hi, I'm Linda Summers.
And I'm Jeannie Lemaire.
And this is Emerging Self, Bringing Heaven to Earth. And today's topic, we will be talking about blocking ourselves and getting in our own way. Oh, wow. So we thought things were going to get lighter. Well, and they sort of are, I guess, in a way. But we got some good topics coming up in March for you. And as again, they're all interlinked together. They just kind of, one leads into the other. So some great news and some great topics for you today. So
yeah. We're looking forward to it. Yeah. So starting off here with blocking ourselves.
Blocking ourselves and getting our own way.
And we might want to, think that we're going to be here talking about something that you folks should be doing about, but I think the truth of it is I've got to talk about how I block my own way. So I just want to say to Linda, because earlier, unbeknownst to you, we had ourselves a emotional venture, and that's the kind of thing we're taught to avoid because, what does that mean? And, our feathers get ruffled. But I just felt, so valuable that, in any kind of relationship, we don't realize at some point we're going to come up to our issues, the things that we block ourselves with. So this was just ideal because one of the things Linda at least mentioned in my direction is I'm stubborn, okay? I'm not only intense, I'm stubborn, but I see in that I block being able to interact, even here with Linda, by being so stubborn to stick to my, whatever I'm considering my worth to be is, and so naturally it brings up stuff to consider.
Yeah.
So the good news is, you see, she's still alive and well. So I didn't have to knock her over too far. Thank you.
Well, I certainly hope I wouldn't be knocked over, but I think that getting out of our own way, really, my experience for me is really about forcing things to happen and really standing in our own way in a way that, doesn't allow the universe to really bring us what we desire. It puts limitations on us. I remember when starting my business years ago, any business that I've ever started, that, I was trying to fit it in this little tiny box, what it was going to look like. I was going to have it look a certain way, be a certain way, and I had it all nice and neatly wrapped in this box and thinking that this is how I want it to be. And then as time went on this journey, I realized that really, it was putting a lot of limitations on it, that I realized, wow, the universe creates this magnificent planet that we live on, from the minute thing to this grand, trees and animals and things, that it's possible that the universe can give me and bring something much more. So I thought, I'm going to just allow to not be so definite on how I had to have it. I think vision boards are great and things like that, but I think what it does too is that it puts limitations, because we could have, say, we want our business to be on the side of a cliff or something like that, or not on the side of a cliff, but, like by the water or something like that, and maybe that we have asthma and that's not probably a good place for us to be, so the universe, what I'm saying is the universe, I feel, has so much more creativity and a direction that it wants us to see, because we know the universe wants the good for us. So I realized I was really limiting myself by standing in my own way. And boy, do I know, like, standing in my own way. It's like, okay, universe, this is what I want. Come on, give it to me now. Give it to me now, And I realized that I want it in my time. And the fact is, it's not in my time. Exactly. And you have to realize, because then if we can just move out of our own way, is it an easy task? I don't think it's easy at all. It hasn't been, Yeah. And I would have to say, just like really in the last 6 months, we talked about, it's just really realizing that the universe really is, which I've always known, but it's like, sometimes you really can't grasp that,
Exactly, and you have to keep at it until you've done it enough. We've spoken about enough. It takes longer than we think. But I'm thinking, too, when you speak of your last 6 months, it had quite a bit of emotionality to it also. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking how courageous, you've been to allow that emotion up. And I'm thinking that's another way we, as a group, can get blocked or not feeling like on the same page with our spouse, with friends, with the job, the
Right.
business, is by not bringing up whatever distress, even if we don't know this is about this or this is about that, but it's like there's distress. That distress comes up, the emotion comes up, the feathers get ruffled, and then it's like, oh my gosh, now I can not only breathe better, I can hear better. I can actually now hear more what someone's saying, than not. But
Yeah.
I just think we're not particularly trained to allow that kind of uncomfortableness to come to the surface. That's like, I don't know. It's embarrassing for one. It's uncertain.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
so-
too, I think that, my experience too, I guess, has really been, it's about protecting myself. And really protecting myself, one, I feel that not to get hurt or not to have, or also to not fail. Like in businesses and things like that. And even with the show, I remember when, when we were filming at Akasha Studios, and Paul had asked me, it was when we were just doing a run through of the show before we ever started the shows. And he said, so what's your vision of the show? And I said, honestly, I said, I really can't say because I know the universe has a bigger and better plan for me. But what I can say is that I want to raise the consciousness and I want to film once a week. Now, where that will go take me, yes. Do I want to, I would love to do a segment on, a news station. Would I love to go in and talk to schools and things like that? Absolutely. Yes, I would love to do all that. But then I think if I'm, kind of directing it, then I'm putting limitations on where this can expand to. So I feel that it's more about putting out the intention of what it is that we want and being specific, but not so specific, being a little bit vague to be able to allow the universe to bring what we desire.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
kind of-
what they say about failure, the only failure there is never trying.
Yes.
Because truly, you can try a whole bunch of things and they may or may not occur, but if you don't try, you can guarantee they won't occur.
Right.
That's the guarantee.
Right.
So, I think you're right. I think it is, it is just all about, we don't realize that we operate a certain way. We're trained, we've interpreted how to be, and so we don't realize that can become a block to the very things we want, because that then becomes, you're talking about
Yep.
that box, that becomes the framework and how I have to be all the time. So, it is very interesting on that facet.
Yeah, and I think given the fact that we're such a instantaneously world that we have to have everything quick, convenience, let me have it fast, so we're not used to where it used to be, where we can allow, and there wasn't any of that. You just knew, okay, well, that was going to come when it was going to come, and that was going to be it. And I think with being in a world like that, it has brought us to that point that we want things instantaneously. We don't want to have to wait for things.
Yeah.
And when you realize and you look back, and I know for myself, when I've looked back on all the experiences that I've had in life, that I see where it was probably not possible for it to happen at that time. So I look back in hindsight and I'm like, I wouldn't have been ready for that.
Yep.
And I really had to go through this in order to get here. So I would really say to the audience that, that you're watching and viewing today, is that if there's that time where you feel like you want things really fast and you want it now, look back in your life where you've gone through circumstances and experiences in your life, and you realize at that time that you weren't able to have it instantaneously, that you had to go through things at that time. So I really think there's something to be said for that we can't just force. And like we talked in last week's show, that I think it was last week, but about the bud. There's a process with nature. Nature knows when to bloom, and it was funny because I was thinking with all this weather, here we are in wintertime, and when our weather was so nice, like 85 degrees, remember, I was thinking, I was driving along and everything's blooming. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, those poor plants, they probably think, hey, we're in springtime. And we're like, no, we're in winter.
Yeah.
They're probably confused because it's a process. They don't know anything different, which I find is really fascinating, that they're going to bloom because of the weather and the sun and everything, and then all of a sudden they get a frost and a cold and they're like, oh my gosh,
Because
what happened?
they're connected to everything.
Yes.
So they don't say, I'm just going to decide to bloom now, whether it's winter or summer out.
Yeah.
So they're always responding. And I
Right.
think that's a key point, Linda, is that
Yeah.
we've sort of forgotten, because we have it in us, but we've
Yeah.
forgotten, how do I respond? You know,
Right.
how what is this really sharing with me?
Right.
What beyond the fact that I'm distressed or I'm shaky, what other news can I get from this event?
Right.
And I think when you're saying living consciously, we're wanting to be able to be where we're at, have the experience we're having. If we're distressed, be distressed, and at the same time say, okay, wow, so overall, what can this do for me? What might it be trying to get to my conscious level?
Absolutely.
So you're right, it's like digging deep, letting that bud come up. The bud knows when the
Yeah,
sun's shining and the weather's nice to bud up, and I'm thinking we've just sort of forgotten that natural flow. It's natural to us, but, you know, we've been taught to be otherwise.
Yeah,
So, you know,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Well, and I think too, we have a question.
yes.
Oh,
So I'll go ahead. How do I let go of being in control and trust?
wow.
Well, there, that sort of says
Let
it,
go
doesn't
of
it?
being in control and trust. Oh,
I know.
well,
So you want to?
yeah, I don't know. You want
Well,
to go for it? Because I'm like, yeah, control.
Well, that's a great question because.
And thank you for the question.
Yes, we're taught to be in control. We're taught to be in control because we're taught that we can't count on other people. You know, if you are, your parents are divorced or someone dies, you have to rely on yourself. When it comes to make a living, you may want to be a ballerina, but you have a mortgage to pay. So we say, yeah, you have your dreams, no problem. But by the way, don't forget that it's up to you to do this and this and this and this. And then on top of that, we're trained to want to have a family. That adds in things to do. We're trained to want to, put them through college. Now that puts things on our plate. So we've been trained to, to live a certain life. Get the kids out of school. Get an RV and then eventually die and have it all set up. So we forget that that moments of of being able to to step out of that, and as Linda's saying, to allow for the weather, so to speak, to allow for the weather to come in. It just can't seem to happen. And of course, we're used to, whether or not, we go indoors. So we go indoors. It doesn't matter what the weather's doing. We go about our business. Same thing, with going indoors, or my thought has just left my mind, which does all the time. But, those kind of things that we don't realize when we put lights on at night. We're going opposite when the universe, the planet's saying it's time to sleep. People didn't have lights before, so they went to bed. So we have managed to reroute things, made those new habits, and now you're saying, let go of that and trust. So I'm thinking, as she's saying, it's no easy thing. It's not. It has to be something that you're wanting so strongly different in your life. If you're not liking that with the in control stuff, you're not feeling the joy or whatever, then you're going to want to take a risk and maybe, as Linda's saying, not make it so boxed and allow for some experience to come in that wasn't expected.
Yeah. Boy, the control thing, and trust. I can so relate to that question. And, again, I think too, I feel that it really is about, one, your feeling and your desire for whatever it is that you want. And then this whole control thing, I know for myself, in situations that I've been going through, yes, do I want to control the outcome? Absolutely, because I want it to go my way. It's kind of like when Jeannie and I were talking earlier, or Jeannie had mentioned earlier, and about the show and bringing up things before the show and distressed moments. And it's, I think it's to me, the number one thing in life is about communication. There has to be communication. If we are not communicating with one another, then what's the point? Because things are not being said, things are not being heard. And if we're not communicating how we feel about something, and then to bring it up years later, months later, then what's the point? I mean, hello, bring it up right now when it's being there. And again, there may not be the time to do that, but so, whatever you're feeling, we want things to be in our own way. And at some point we realize, and when you get to experience, when you step out of your way and you allow the universe to bring you the magic and the creativity, then you have firsthand experience and you realize that you don't need control anymore. Then all of a sudden there's that moment that you're like, wow, like this really happened. I took a chance and I stepped out of my way, and got out of my way and not blocked myself from the very thing that I'm desiring, because we're putting limits on ourselves. So trust is huge. I mean, if we don't trust ourselves, we're not going to trust other people. If you trust yourself, but other people have not been trustworthy, and then something comes up and all of a sudden you're like, well, I don't think I'm going to trust that person. And so there's a whole lot of things that are going to start coming up. And so, next week we're going to be talking about speaking your truth, and we're going to probably reiterate a lot of this stuff. And this is really a part of that. Like I said, all this is interlinked. And so, the whole control thing. Hey, we want life to go our way, but I'm telling you, if you allow this beautiful universe, God, whatever, which you are a part of, and yourself is waiting for you to just step aside. It doesn't know resistance. It's waiting for you to let go and allow it to unfold. And when you do that, the magic is incredible. I mean, I've really learning that in the last 6 months about not having the show be away, not having life be away, and not having the show, even though I have a vision for the show. It's not that I'm saying it has to look this certain way and people change or anything like that. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this vision of how I want it to look. And yes, is there room to expand, and there's room to let things happen and come in, because we're about living consciously, about being aware moment to moment, consciously aware. In this moment, are you trying to control? In this moment, are you trying to have it your way? In this moment, are you not trusting? Yeah. These are things it's really asking yourself. That's the answer to that question.
Yeah. I'm going to add a PS.
Yes. PS. I love you.
On this
we do. We love you.
Yeah, exactly. On this trust thing, I say too is a key element she was talking about when we control to protect ourselves, but it's also an issue of safety. So you can, in a moment, sometimes notice that you feel a little safer to bring some news up. That's like just in that moment, you're just, not just desiring, but you're feeling that. That's a good time to bring something up. So, because again, if you're determining that you're going to lose your job or somebody's not going to like you anymore, it's not safe enough, none of us will bring it up. So you're talking that in the moment feel. And I would say that the safer we are to express whatever we've got to express, the more confidence we get, the more energy, the more, feeling good about ourselves, not better than others. And that's the really key thing you see out here. What Linda, I heard her saying, and I'm in agreement, is you start feeling connected with other people. You start feeling a colleagueship, like you're not a secondhand citizen. You're starting to feel like you're worthwhile. And that's what she said so beautifully. We're all worthwhile, and yet we don't really all fully know that, at least not all the time.
Yeah, and I'll say something on the safety too. I think that it is when you can feel safe enough to bring and say something, but I feel it's also important that you know where the other person is, because you can feel safe. But how is the other person? Where are they at in their space? Because this, again, we're going to talk about next week. This is about speaking your truth. So this is really, they're hand in hand. So I can feel safe to say something, but if I know that that person is not in a place or a space to hear, then it's not going to be received in a way. So I think, I would have to agree that safety is, as an important aspect of it, but it is being very consciously aware of where is this other person in their space, of how are they going to receive this. Maybe it's not even though I feel safe, and again, which is what Jeannie and I are really talking about, it's about connecting and, because we are in relationship all the time, us on the show, you out in life when you're dealing with the clerk or the people at the restaurant or day-to-day basis or wherever you're at in life, you're dealing with people. So it really is to be mindful and being conscious aware that, it's like, oops, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
I had an oops yesterday. I like to usher here in the San Diego area, and sure the fact that I fell getting there. We've had some rain and I went across one of those metal plates and it was just slick. So that, of course, I'm sure shook me up. I could feel it physically, but I know I was shooken. I wasn't badly hurt, but I was shooken. And so it happened that they had one person first, then intermission, and it was this wonderful female pianist. We often get very well-known pianists, but most of the time they're men. I've just noticed, not good or bad. This woman was just outrageous. So, of course, we were all very appreciative afterwards, and we were all, excited. But I was really excited. Again, here's that intensity. Here's that, above and beyond. And it was just, not just bravo, bravo, but bravo. Just really, it was so wonderful to me. Just so wonderful. And then one of the patrons came out and said, which one of you, as they were going for intermission, which one of you ushers was, so loud over there? And I thought, me. So I say again, sometimes in my own way of, I don't have to curb my enthusiasm. I certainly want to be enthusiastic, but as you're saying, pay attention to the receptivity or the environment or what the occasion is, so that it can be, received as it's intended.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
good point. So,
Yeah, it's huge. It's definitely huge. We have another question. Okay, what can I do to stay open to the possibilities around me? What can I do to stay open to possibilities around me? Well, stay open. Wow, that's really kind of interesting. I would say, and I'm, again, this question, without really kind of knowing, I'm going to just throw my spin on that. So staying open to me means it's being open, expanding to the possibilities. We're talking about blocking ourselves. We're talking about standing in our own way. If you're being open to possibilities, then it's about expansion. It's about getting out of your way. It's about removing the blocks. So whatever blocks are blocking you, if you look at in your life where things have not gone in a way that you have desired them to go, then it's taking a look, where am I blocking myself from achieving and moving this forward? So I would say that's what it is really being open to the possibility, allowing yourself and really going in and seeing based upon whatever has happened, experiences again in your life that have happened, and seeing where you have blocked yourself. Where can I start right now? Being open to the possibility of expansion. Because again, it's like putting ourselves in this tiny little box, which we like to do. We want to wrap ourselves in this tiny little box. And, we like it because it's nice and neat and we had it all together. But, from my own experience is that, to have it all together in this tight little wrapped box is not worth it. It really isn't. It's like unwrap it, let the sides fall down, and let the universe in, which is yourself, which you're a part of the universe. So that's what I would say on staying open to the possibility.
Cool. That's right on the mark.
Yeah.
I'm going to add in, see if you can expand your ability to take criticism. And what I mean by that is most of us live in our own world like we're in a pond. We don't see how we're acting. We don't see how we're sounding. We really aren't paying much attention to how whatever we're doing is being received out here by others. So if you find you're after something and thinking, how come this is blocked? I'm not getting where I want to go. If you feel brave enough, ask your spouse, ask your friend, and say, gosh, I want to get here, but I notice it's not happening. And say, I really, if you wouldn't mind, would like your really stark, honest opinion. I'm willing to take criticism. And I don't mean as criticism's bad, but most of us take it like, oh, don't tell me what I did wrong, or, I'm not good enough and all that. But when they say, well, as a matter of fact, when you do this, you always end it with this, which pretty much negated what you said. And they'll go, wow, I do? Yeah, you start out open, and then by the time you finish your sentence, it's not open anymore. So, we love you. We don't, it's no problem to us, but that's something that's, getting in your way of the thing you're after. So I find that it's often helpful to ask others, and I say it on the taking criticism because that might be something our loved ones might have an issue on. So they might say, well, as a matter of fact, I'm so glad you asked because really,
Yeah.
And like, whoa. But only as a wow that you, in asking that question, they got energy up and out. They love you. That's not the energy we want to stay with. That's the energy we want to clear with. And then, relationships with them might be better, as well as you having some news of, wow, I didn't even realize I did that. So See how well you're able to take criticism and just be able to say, wow, I didn't realize that. You don't have to defend like, well, I didn't mean it, but just say, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, because on the criticism, doing Toastmasters and speaking and stuff like that years ago, that I realized, especially after Toastmasters, that criticism, it's not really criticism. It's really shifting your perspective in that. And what I learned from that was when people were saying something, it wasn't about what I did wrong. It was about how I can improve. And if I'm all about growth, and which I am, it's about how can I improve on that. And I would say, yes, sometimes does it hurt to hear, is there that little piece of me that's like when they say something, does that kind of like, well, of course it is. We're human. We have emotions. We have feelings. Of course it is. But what I would say is that I would look at that and go, wow, thank you for, noticing that. And, let me see how I can improve on that. Let me put that into my conscious awareness so where I can be more consciously aware. So that's what I would say to the criticism is don't look at, because for me, what I'm saying is if I'm looking at the word criticism, it's such a harsh word. It feels like it's an attack. And so if you can shift your perspective, and I'm reiterating again, just to really bring it home to you, if you can shift your perspective and seeing that it's not about criticism, it's about growth. It's about how you can grow and improve wherever you're at and whatever the exchange that you're having or whatever's going on in your life. So that's what I would say. That's how my experience has been. So,
yeah, and if you happen to be someone that was taken aback and you're emoting and you're either crying or something comes up, I have found so many times that opens it for somebody else. So even like you said, if you're in like a Toastmaster situation, you're wanting to grow and to take that. Sometimes those emotions just surface, and darn if it doesn't stir up the person sitting next to you.
Yeah.
So it does sometimes, like the rain. It's kind of like, I like the rain because it drops everywhere. It may drop more heavy here and a little less heavy there, but if it's coming through, it doesn't avoid areas. So kind of like the rain. I like that.
Well, it's interesting because we were in a drought. Now we're in floods. So, in the east and the Midwest, we can relate to you guys. It's either one or the other. But, this is life. And I think my feeling, and this is sort of going off the topic, but not really, I feel that, again, this is where it's all about cleansing. It's about things coming to the surface, things rising to for our growth, for our evolution. And I feel the planet is cleansing herself. And again, I heard once that, when we have the clouds and you guys have got the snow and things like that, the sun is always shining. Mm-hmm. Sun never goes away. It is always shining. And I relate that to ourselves. Yep. Our light is always shining, whether we're in a bad mood, whether we're, depressed. That light is still shining, and it is wanting to shine more. But again, we have to cleanse, and we have to go in and do the work to let this go. So, we have another question. Jeannie, there you go.
Okay.
Yes.
How does this create my own reality really work? Yeah. Create my own reality. Oh, gosh, isn't that a catchphrase? I love on the planet we have catchphrases, and we're certainly one in create your own reality. So let me see. Yeah, the first thing I want to say is we're not trained to create our own reality. We've gone thousands of years of saying what men do and boys do and girls and women and who gets to have the more expensive job and who gets to work for the military. We've had a lot of distinctions, and we're all good people. We want to follow along. We want to be accepted into the program. Wouldn't you say? Mm-hmm. We learn from our parents. We learn from our teachers. To go ahead and do it that way. So now they say create your own reality. So I'm thinking. I think of it like a washing machine. It seems to me the old washers used to have that main stem, and when they would spin, all the clothes go to the outside. And I would say that's where we kind of got caught. Instead of shifting the source, that's us, as Linda's talking, changing your perception, opening your perception, we've been taught how to handle this situation. Oh, then, and over here, a little different, I handle this situation. And I'm just noticing you never seem to get done. Do you notice? With all of the things we're supposed to do and how we're to be. Now, when we're 5, we can do this, but when we're 7, we're not to do that. And, oh gosh, when we start to date, we have to be this way. It just seems to me that there's been and I know it's all meant to be helpful. I can say that. Wouldn't you? It's all been helpful information, but it's almost like the information got more important than the person who, as you say, more growth and can get out of our own way, stop blocking, if that block is to, guard against these situations, then maybe we won't have to have all these rules out here. Maybe we can just be the human being we are with but our children and on the job. And what do you think?
Yeah.
That would be the difference to me.
Yeah, my creating your own reality. Well, that's the phrase that I've been always using. Really, we create our own reality, and and how I'm referring to that, and what I feel that means is that when you're speaking out of what it is that you're desiring, it's like anything, this chair being made, this thought had to be keep thinking about, oh, I want to make this wooden chair, I want it to look like this, and that thought is there, and it's just there, and it's, you're just really zoomed in, the energy is there, it manifests. So if you want to change your life and create your reality, meaning your world is a chunk of this all world. So if you want to create this world, you've got to stop blocking yourself and get out of your own way. So when you realize that you want things a certain way, you are having the control, not trusting, doing all of that, that is going to block you from the very thing that you desire. So that's how you're creating this reality. Whatever your reality is, if it's good, bad, I don't really think of anything good or bad or negative. It's just what you've created. So that's what I would say is look at, how is your world? Is your reality how you see things in your life working for you? If it's not, then I would say, where am I blocking myself? Where am I getting in my own way? How can I open up and expand to the possibilities, shifting my perspective in this? So that's what I would say. And then you watch things unfold. Really, I'm telling you, firsthand experience, just in the last 6 months. I mean, listen, when I'm going to the store,
yeah.
I'm like, hey, angels, I love you. I do this whole song about, I love you, you love me, we love humanity. Have a spot for me in front. I am telling you, literally everywhere I go, there is a spot in front. Mm-hmm. So I know, and I used to doubt that. I was like, I'm not really trusting that, So I'm telling you, firsthand experience, this stuff works. I don't care what you want. It works. It's allowing the universe. The universe is like, yes, because the universe doesn't know resistance. It's just, in which you are the universe. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Sitting back going, okay, well, we're just going to wait for Linda to just decide to let go and just allow us to do the thing. And it doesn't make any judgment myself or, there's no judgment. So just let go and let God, as they say.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
That's a great phrase for
sure.
Well,
and two, what just came to me also, Wayne Dyer, he has this movie called The Shift. Very good movie, by the way. You can look up on Google and find it and purchase it. But he says in the movie, don't try to force life. Let life guide you. Because we do. We're just moving along in life. We got bulldozers. I know I did. Bulldozers. I'm gonna get where I'm gonna go. And it's really just letting go and expanding. So
yeah, and to say that very same thing, to me in another fashion, is to say that sometimes when something happens, instead of immediately deciding what that means, I'm hearing Linda say too, is just be with that. It's like, oh gosh, I got all the red lights, I'm late for work. Well, gosh golly, maybe you missed that accident that happened earlier on that freeway that you don't know about. All you're like, oh gosh, I got the red lights. So, that's that other side of your saying on the letting go too, is saying whatever does show up, see if there's anything about that we can be a little more neutral with as to what it might be helping us with.
Yeah, and I think on that too, it's like there's having your perception. Every situation and every experience, it's how you're going to choose to perceive. So there's choice and perception. So, we can look at, okay, there's a car accident. Oh my God, I'm going to be late for work. When you can shift that and know that everything, and I think I said this on one of the other shows, everything that happens to you is is really for your good. We may not think that it is. And when we're asking, and I've learned to ask, and put out there that I would like the results to be for my highest and greatest good and for the highest good for all concerned. Mm-hmm. And really, when that outcome happens, you may go, well, that's not really what I was planning on. That's not really the outcome that I wanted. But I will tell you, it really was. Because the universe, this is all about growth and evolution. And that's the only way, I mean, this is where we have to wake up as human beings. Because you know what? We're going to end up staying in the same place that we've always been for years until we get up and move. So choice and perceptions, look at things that, hey, there's a positive in everything. I say that. There's always a positive in everything. No matter what it looks like, there's always
And
a
the
positive.
positive always includes the negative. That's what I'm saying, because it's all positive. So you
Yeah,
can
because I don't look at negative, but,
Exactly.
but you can look at, oh my gosh, I got a flat tire, but it saved you from something else. So
That's
if
right.
we can get away from looking at negative, get away from
Yeah.
looking at bad, and really see it as, wow, here is an opportunity for growth and evolution.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
I just love it when you get this passionate.
Yes.
I mean, it's just so exciting because you have it, you do it all the time. But there's times, even as you do it, that it's like so in every cell of your body. I get mesmerized.
Oh, thank you.
So beautiful. Your
Yeah.
inner beauty, your outer beauty, you're caring for yourself, for humanity, for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel so included. I just want to thank you. I just feel so warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, because this is.
I love it.
This is it's my passion, and I really love this,
I
and it
know.
means a lot to me to wake up the consciousness. Okay, how does spirit work? Well, we've been talking about that.
Whoop.
Yes.
So
You want me to begin? Or you want to begin?
yeah, you can start.
Yep.
With, maybe we can just keep saying it different ways.
Well, then that's the thing. And Jeannie and I, we bring in our own flair and our own, flavor to this because we come from different backgrounds. We're different human beings and we come from different walks of life and experiences. So she will have a different point of view and I will have a different point of view. But it's like, to me, religion. There's Lutheran, there's Protestant, there's this, there's that, but the really underlying theme is really about love.
Of course.
And it's about connection. So, we'll give our own take on this. So, I just really lost the question, but I think it was about how does spirit work. So,
I thought you were beautifully being spirit just as you spoke. So
yes, so spirit, this is really this show that we're doing, that Jeannie, and I can't speak for Jeannie and I won't speak for Jeannie, but I'll speak for myself. This is spirit moving through me. It is not scripted. It is not, that I go, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm going to share. This is all about spirit coming through me and working through me. But I had to allow that. I had to get out of my way. I had to drop those blocks, move those blocks in order to allow. Because if we got these blocks, the universe is like, can't get in. I'm knocking, can't get in. So, it's knocking, but you need to open up the door. I mean, what do they say in the Bible? Knock and the door shall open. And
There you go.
I don't know, ask and you shall receive. I'm not, I don't know the Bible that well, but I know a few verses out of there. So it's knocking. So this is how spirit is working. Spirit is when you have that feeling like, I want to, I'll use my son as an example because he's a perfect example. He's at Davis, and all my sons really, they're following their spirits. It's like this, I'm going to try this martial out, my older son, I'm going to try this martial out thing out, and I'm going to see how it feels. And he's in there, and he's loving what he's doing. He's like, wow, I really love doing this, And so when you have that feeling of that it resonates with you, it feels really good. That to me is spirit moving you. And when you do it and you lose all track of time, time is of no essence. When we get done with the show, we're like, wow, that was an hour. Oh my gosh. Like, where'd the hour go?
Yeah.
We literally like, wow,
We don't know.
that was so fast. So, because we know it's spirit working. It's not us directing. It's not us controlling. We're not controlling the show. My son's not controlling that. So that's how I would say how spirit works, is allowing you to move with whatever resonates with you and to follow that.
well, I'd say she answered the question, but I'm going to chat anyway just because I can.
Well, and give your own perspective because really,
but it's one and the same.
have,
That's what I wanted to say is that, we are all conscious of not speaking for other people. And at the same time, we know we're one. So I'm going to even just say to Linda, she's welcome to speak for me because, yes, she has her own slant. And, of course, she'll speak it. And I might put some other terms out there. And it's all one. It's, as you say, it's all the love. It's all the connection. It's all the, feeling like you're a part of, that you're heard, you're seen, you're included. all these businesses we do and all this, technology and the advancement, that's fun. It keeps us busy. I call it busy work. It keeps us off the streets because all we're doing in all of that is interacting.
Yeah.
So, we are interacting. So there's the spirit of me as a full chunk of this world, Linda, full chunk of this world. There's us in this whole world. There's the whole world in the whole world.
And Wayne too.
And Wayne always, he's in our world.
He's in
Absolutely.
our world.
Hi, Wayne.
He stepped in our
Okay.
pond. He stepped in our pond.
I love it, and we
He's
love having
swimming
it
with us. Yes.
Exactly.
Shake those.
Shake the water off.
Yeah,
Wayne.
shake the
Good.
water off.
But that's what we're saying is we're incorporating all of that, and as Linda beautifully said, that is the spirit part. And then, what we actually do and how that unfolds. Well, that's the adventure to me. But exactly, it's having all these variations of the totality. And so having all that, that's where, I love how you say it, It's not positive, negative. It really just is growth. But since we have these terms, another way to say it's positive and negative. It's all inclusive.
Yeah.
It's like, so, do we get distressed? I do. Because I know one of the main blocks that happens for me is when I get tired. When I get tired, I'm out here, I'm trying to balance my energy and doing things, but then that day comes when I've overextended. Yeah. And I know myself, I am not a pleasant person to be around when I'm tired. I've had to apologize to my friends, just about most of them. Not because they know I'm out to get them, but when I'm tired, that's when I start clearing the deck. So when people see that, they definitely go elsewhere. Because I know it's not a good time for me to be out and about. Certainly not a good time to interact. So that's one of those blocks that I have to see. If I get myself to that position, this spirit can't reach me. I can't reach me. It can't reach me. Nothing can be reached. So that might be something that,
Well, when you brought that up, I thought for me, and I always use this analogy, is that I'm with food. If I am hungry, I'm like the Hulk. I always envision where he's like, "Rah," and he rips off that, he gets so big and his clothes rip. That's how I am. I become like the Hulk, and I make a joke at it. It's like, okay, if I ever get to that point where I'm hungry, I am like the Hulk. So you don't want to ever get me to that point. So that's why I carry food in my purse. I mean, I carry bars, and so I'm always making sure that I have food because I know if I get to that point, I am like, it's like, you don't want to see me in that space. So that's really kind of where I am. And that's true. The spirit cannot come through when we're like that. We are really, Jeannie, and when Jeannie said this, I really didn't get this, that we're porous. And I mean, I got it, but I didn't. I got it in the sense that there's these little holes in you because I was thinking, oh my gosh, those people who go to those garlic restaurants and they eat all that garlic and they come out and they smell like garlic for days? That is why, because you are porous. And let me tell you, if you have light inside of you, and if it was just light was to shine, it'd be like a starburst. It would be beaming out everywhere. So, when we are just locked down and there's doubt and there's all this stuff that we're trying to bring up on the show and to be live consciously and show you guys how to do that and really bring awareness to your consciousness. That's what we're doing. So to do that is let all this stuff surface and get all that stuff out of the way. So definitely.
Yeah, and I commend this that we don't just say that, we do it. Just like earlier today, we let stuff stir up and stuff, and I can say I feel like I can breathe better. Yeah. So that's a lovely thing. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Well, that's another way of saying it. Question. Thank you. Yes. How do I get out of my own way? So since this is coming up a couple of times, may I go ahead?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Because I
I'm sorry if I was really kind of loud when I was like this. So
Good go. Yes. Some on the how-to, as I say. As ourselves, if we lived as an isolated person, I'm not sure any of us could because we wouldn't be able to both float and stand on the ground in a gravity world. So I say to you, this is getting out of one's own way. Invite help from people that you do feel supported by. You can say to a good friend, I'm wanting to be able to speak up more. I tend to, when somebody, sends, they're very strong and they come my way, I just go quiet. And you say to your friend, I'm wanting to be able to, actually speak words, can you help me with that? Or can you, give my hand a little squeeze if you see me backpedaling, which is my mode of operandi or something. There's physical things they could do. They can physically squeeze your hand. You can feel the confidence, or they can give you a thumbs up, if you're in a group of people and that friend says, yeah, go ahead. So that is a helpful way because, we, as she says, we're perceivers, so I only see from over here. So it helps me when others who aren't with me every minute can, that I do feel good with and can say, hey, how can I help? Then that's a way to start getting out of your own way. And again, we talked about habits, I think it was the last show.
Yeah,
habits aren't good or bad either. We just want the good ones. We want good routines. So we have to practice these things. So I would say practice inviting in from others some things, something you want to see different in your world, and see if they can give you a signal or a heads up or speak to it when you're in a group or remind you that you wanted that will help you practice.
Yeah. What I would say is stop controlling. You have to stop controlling. And when we, again, it's going back to and looking at in your life, if you are wondering why things haven't happened to you sooner, why, how come I'm doing this and I'm not getting anywhere? Because we're in our own way. We're trying to control an outcome of something that we're desiring. If you want a relationship, if you want a new career, if you want a new car, it doesn't matter what it is. If you are trying to control the outcome, then you're blocking the very thing, again, that you're wanting to desire. So I agree too. I think it's also that if you have someone that you can speak up to and say, and they can say, and kind of guide you through how if I asked, say I asked Jeannie, how can I present this to this person? And you say, present it in this way, kind of like with the lawyer.
Or here's something you could do.
Yeah,
exactly.
Here's something that you could do this way, right?
Yeah.
And then I go to that person and I present it and I come back and I tell Jeannie, this is how I did. She's like, good job. That was the, perfect, the way to go. So it gives me more confidence knowing that, at first I had someone that I could go to because I wasn't really quite sure, how I was going to say it. But, for me, I would say it's all about control. That's what I would say is that if you are wanting to get out of your own way, we have to learn to stop controlling. We have to learn that the results will be much bigger and better than we can ever. These minds can only... It's just so small. It can't expand. I mean, it only knows what you've read, taught, learned, all this. It doesn't know anything outside of that, where the universe is like, hey, man, I got it. And I'm going to say it again. The universe is like, I got it all down for you. I can give you this and that. And, you've got it all. Just allow me to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's just waiting for us. So, get out of your own way. Well, don't control and just let the results be. Yeah. And ask the universe, say to the universe that this is what I realize, that I recognize what I want in my life. I'm wanting a relationship. And I know that, this relationship that this person wants to serve in God and humanity or whatever that looks like for you. And I know that you will bring me the perfect person to match what's perfect for me in my life. So I'm going to let you and just let go. Yeah. And then just let go, I was one for I'd be like, okay, you didn't do it fast enough. I'm going to take it back. I did that a lot. I'd give it up to the universe. And I'd be like, okay, well, wait a minute. You're not doing it fast enough.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, this was 3 days to a week. That's not fast enough. Okay, I'm taking it back. Yeah. You know what? And I learned that, it's not in my time. It's not in any of our timing. Again, like I'll say before, when I said about if you look back in your life and you realize you couldn't have done it back then, the timing wasn't right. But the timing is now. But now is time to step up in this consciousness, in this world, and really awaken and change. I mean, we want a different world. We got to be the change we want to see in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as you were saying on that control thing, you certainly don't want to turn yourself over for somebody else to control you either. But,
we know that one too.
So that sometimes you just in that moment have to see, did they say something that enlivens you? Or did they say something that sounds like they think you're not capable of doing it? And that news can come to us, that 15 to 20 minute business after you've been with somebody. That kind of tells you if they were genuinely looking to assist you, for you to see if this might be something you'd like to do, or if they now decided, oh, well, I'm just going to tell you what you have to do because you can't do it. You'll have that feeling. It just won't sit well. So that is. Some of these are catch-22s to me,
Yeah,
so.
well, and I think if someone's telling you really how you should do your life, well, then, like we always say, who put you in charge? And again, I think there's a way, when I said earlier in the show, it's about communication. If we can communicate from our hearts and really in a genuine fashion, not to piss somebody, excuse my language, not to piss somebody off, but really to, to come from your heart, not because you want to, get back at them. I mean, again, this is going back to what's your motivation? What's your intention behind? Again, when you're asking for things in the world, what's your, when you're wanting results, what's your intention? What's your motivation for wanting that? I think we really have to look at, is it just about greed? Is it about this? Is it about that? I mean, you only know. You know your own truth. No one else knows it. So, it's, again, next week we'll be speaking about speaking your truth. And that really, it's all the same. Yeah. Really, it's all the same. And, you just really...
But I thank you for that. You just really even cleared it up more for me on saying that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I've been so thirsty here today. We've just had rain, so there's moisture in the air, and I'm more thirsty than I am any other day.
And I was saying before the show, I was like, I'm drinking so much water. Like, what the heck is going on? I need all this water. I feel like a camel or something.
More cleansing.
More cleansing. Yeah, we're just washing away, the universe, or the rain's washing things away. We're washing things away as well. And, really, when we think about that, Jeannie, honestly, when we're drinking the water, we are washing and cleansing because it's toxins that are being released from our bodies. So really, there is something to be said to that.
I know
that we're drinking because it's like, okay,
we're with the weather.
Yes,
okay? The weather's cleansing. Yeah. We're cleansing. We're going to drink more.
Yeah, because we're all in this together. We're all connected. So it's all this whole blocking and getting out of your way really. All this stuff that we're talking about, these topics, I feel is really food for thought. It's really, we're not saying, hey, go out and, do this right now, because honestly, you can't. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like little baby steps at a time and taking and chewing on this information, seeing if it resonates with you, seeing if it feels right. If it feels right, do it with anything. Mm-hmm. If it feels right, do it. If it doesn't, then don't do it. But we're wanting to raise the consciousness and awaken people to unblock yourselves, to get out of your way by our own examples and by our own experiences that we have filtered through in our own lives. So,
and we're willing here to have it be a part of our show because it's our individual and together's life show. So we're wanting to be life as life happens, not try to make it so pretty over here or not over there. So that's the other thing that I just really appreciate here and being in union with you, Linda, is that I'm not having to just put the good news out there or just have to have every hair in place. I try to look nice, but I mean it's more saying yes, want to look nice, and also want to get that. Oh my heavens. This is going on with us individually, with us together, with the show, with life, and looking at what we want. And we're willing here to take the risk because we know in our bones that this is right timing for us. Yes. Wouldn't you say? We just absolutely know in every part of our being. So we're just doing it.
Yeah. Well, since you gave me the opportunity so that I can speak for you, I'm going to speak for you.
Go for it.
I really don't like to do that, but I'm going to say that, you know what? We don't have all this together, people. I mean, our life, we're... can I speak? Okay. That we don't have it all together. Just we have topics because we have experiences. We want to raise the consciousness, awaken the consciousness. Jeannie and I are interacting. The show was interviewer guest. It was me transitioning from being an interviewer and having a guest to working in colleagueship with somebody else. This is like a marriage. This is like a relationship with your friends. It's about relating. We've talked about that in every show. It's about relating. The universe, the people on this world are all about relating. And there are going to be things where, you're going to be like, well, I didn't know that. Or, well, hey, there's going to be these things that are going to be like pulling and pushing and Because a relationship, I'm sorry, you're two individual, unique people. But again, I feel that if we can communicate with each other in a way that's from the heart and not to upset anybody else and to speak our truth from the heart, which will be our next show, sorry.
As she says, it is all the same. So
yeah, so
very accurate.
Yeah, so again, our lives, are not this perfect life. We don't have life altogether. We don't have the answers to everything. We're giving you what we know from our own experiences and hoping that this information will resonate with you and you will take this information. It was interesting, and I know we got just, a few more minutes for the show, but I was talking to Alan and he had watched one of our shows.
Oh.
And it was on fear. And, when I talked about calling that babysitter, he decided to make a call to a family member.
Wow.
He said, if you can do it, I can do it. And I was like, wow. I was like, yay, I'm so glad to see that, what we're doing is really giving people like, I'm going to do this. So, thank you, all really, because gosh, I mean, that's why we want you to write in your stories if you have a story that impacted you, or if you have any questions. We want to include you. You're a part of this. We're all connected.
Exactly.
We want you to write in, call, to admin@consciousawareness.tv.com. Let us know. And this show, this network is really for you to promote your business as well. Let us know. And for a small fee, we will promote you and get you out there as well. So, honestly.
Yes, because nothing we're doing takes away from you or from us. It's not us and them. It's all of us coming together, as she says so beautifully. We're in this together. It's family for us.
Yeah.
And that's what you are. You're family, and we want to expand our family, right?
Yeah.
Like us, subscribe to us.
Yeah. And when you subscribe, you'll be notified of when the shows are posted. And so, and liking us, I mean, gosh, come on, who doesn't want to be liked, So really do like us. And then, honestly, we thank you so much for tuning in today. And we thank Wayne and Pam for this place to be able to film. It's beautiful. And, like I said in one of the shows, Wayne is such a creative person. He's an amazing person. He does awesome videos, and this is going to be at the end of every show to let you know where you can get a hold of Wayne, and it's www.waynevideosinc. No, Wayne.
He's laughing at us because we want to share it.
Yes, I want to share it, but I should have known. Wayne.
Well, there's always next show. We'll let him know.
Wayne. Okay, well, it's going to be at the bottom of the shows. We want it to be at the bottom of the shows, but I wanted to get it out to you guys. Wayne Video Productions. Wayne Videos. Wayne.
Whatever
Productions.
she's saying, we also want to say thank you to Sherry, because Sherry's back east and she handles a lot of the communications out there. Sherry, thank you also. So we have the visible and the invisible, and we're grateful. We're grateful for everyone that's helped us in our life with the show, and all of you.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to say. We just want to really help out Wayne too, because I'm telling you, he's an amazing guy. If you watch these shows, he's the one behind the scenes. He's the one that's putting this together. So it's phenomenal. So we just want to thank him and just thank you so much for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we look forward to tuning in next week, and we will be talking about speaking your truth. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.